Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
And it's another great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. I want to thank you for tuning in, for listening, taking time out of your schedule to listen to this show. I encourage you to stay tuned because this is going to be a change your life program. It's going to be a transformational program, and it's going to be a life-altering, life-changing program. Well, you know, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon me, can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity for me to be on with you one more time to share some ideas with you that will help transform your thinking, help you do more, be more, and achieve more. I want to ask you a question. Would you like to transform your life? Would you like to transform your business? Would you like to transform your finances? If the answer to those questions is yes, today is a show that's going to be life altering. Today I have as my guest one of the greatest thinkers I've ever met, one of the wisest people I've ever met, and someone who has actually seen and authored transformation at the highest levels. You're going to get a masterclass today in transformational thinking, and transformational action. My special guest today is my friend, Dr. Nido Qubein, president of High Point University and massively successful businessman. We're going to talk to him in a moment. I want to thank each one of you for helping me to make this show the number one self-help show in America. And I'm grateful for you. And you know, I take a moment at the beginning of every show to give God glory, to give him praise, to give him honor for his grace and mercy. Now, I know everybody does not believe like I believe, think like I believe, but I have learned that when you give God praises, when praises go up, blessings come down. And I have been blessed mightily. So I take a moment at every show to give God glory. And I say to you every week, God's gift to you is life. Your gift to God is what you do with your life. So do something extraordinary with it. And then I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Truist Bank. Truist Bank is an incredible bank. You got BB&T and you got SunTrust, 2 great banks by themselves. And they came together to create an incredibly powerful bank that is now one of the top banks in America. And they have a simple premise that they started it on. When you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. Truist is my bank, where my mortgage is for my home. And I highly recommend you go to truist.com, learn about them, learn about all the things they're doing to grow communities, grow futures, and grow legacy. Well, my guest today, I could go on and on and on and on. Let me start by being transparent. He's one of my best friends. We've been friends for over 30 years. He is an amazing man who has done amazing things with his life. He came to America as a teenager with limited knowledge of the English language, about $50 in his pocket. His mama told him, though, go to America, walk with the great, talk with the great, and you will be great. And he listened to his mama. He went on to go to college here in America. He started with a small college where he got an associate degree. Then he went on to get his BA. Then he went on to get his degree in business. And he started businesses. He started by speaking and giving lectures and helping people to grow their thinking. And then he expanded to a number of other business activities. He has been successful in business in many areas: real estate, publishing, speaking, and in growing businesses. He is a man who has made great things happen in his life. He serves on the board of first of all, he's given over 7,500 presentations around the world, serves on the board of directors of many Fortune 500 companies, including Truist, my sponsor. He also is on with Lazy Boy, Savista, and he is the chairman of the Great Harvest Bread Company. He also has had numerous incredible and amazing accomplishments. He's inducted in the Horatio Alger Association for Distinguished Americans, along with Oprah Winfrey and Colin Powell. He is the recipient of the DAR Americanism Award, along with 4 U.S. presidents. He is the recipient of the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. He has been recognized as both the Citizen of the Year and Philanthropist of the Year in his home city of High Point, North Carolina. And he has changed one university from a small, dinky, kind of dumpy little college to becoming one of the top universities in America. He's done it by vision, by determination, and by faithful courage. It's called High Point University. I'm honored to be an artist of residence there with people like Steve Wozniak and John Maxwell and Cent Marshall, the first African-American woman to be the president of a NBA team, the Dallas Mavericks. I'm honored to be one of the artist residents. Was just there for one of my visits there just a few weeks ago. And it is the most amazing transformation I have witnessed. It is an honor to have him as my friend and have him as my guest today, the one and only Dr. Nido Qubein. Nido, good to have you, my friend. So good to have you. Thank you for being on with me today. And look, I gave him a thumbnail about you. Where did you come from? How did you get here? How did you come to America, and how did you start this career? Give us a quick synopsis, please.
Well, first of all, Willie, thanks for everything that you've said. Let me just say that my admiration for you even exceeds your love for me. I've watched you over the years as a young speaker who met the needs of his audiences, who was both substantive and substantial in all that you did. And it's no wonder that you have risen to such a high level of excellence and accomplishment. You speak about my awards. You have that many awards and more yourself. And in the speaking world, you're the king. And in the world of human development, personal development, and human intelligence, you're the emperor. So listen, I'm delighted to be with you. Well, look, I came to America as a 17-year-old kid to go to college. At $50, could hardly speak English, but I believe America is a land of opportunity. I believe that the American dream is alive and well. I believe the American dream is not defined by how big your house is, or how much money you have in the bank, but rather is defined by the achievement of your own goals. If it weren't that way, if you wouldn't define it that way, how would you explain to a third grade teacher who goes to school for 4, 5, 6, 7 years and knows that he or she is going to be overworked and underpaid, but they want to teach third grade, man? You're going to say to them they have not accomplished the American dream? How dare I say something like that? So the truth is, American dream is about the achievement of your own goals, whatever they are. For some people, it's money. Some people, it's fame. Some people, it's impact. Some people, it's just making the world a better place. Some people, it's just loving. Some people it's being a preacher or being a missionary or being a politician, whatever it might be. Because look, Willie, there's no such thing as unrealistic dreams, only unrealistic timelines. And
Stop there. Say that again. Go ahead. Say that one more time. That's good.
There's no such thing as unrealistic dreams. They're only unrealistic timelines. We were created to be extraordinary. God didn't sit in heaven and say, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to create some extraordinary people. But just to balance this world out and make it normal, on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I'm going to create some dingalings. Now, the question is, which day of the week were you born on? Well, of course not. God breathed in our nostrils and gave us life. He meant for us to all be extraordinary. We're the ones who mess it up sometimes. So I believe in the art of the possible. I believe that you can make something of your life. The circumstances in which you find yourself today do not define where you end up. They only tell us where you start.
Amen.
It is possible. And so you used the word the transformation. I came as a kid. I learned the English language on 3x5 cards. I want to become one of America's most in-demand speakers who authored, tons of books and CDs and videos and translate in 30 languages, used all over the world, became built 6 businesses. One of them was a consulting business. One of them, by the way, was a couple of guys and I started a bank called American Bank and Trust in High Point, North Carolina, which we sold to another big bank. And that's how my evolution with banking came. But there was a common thread. The common thread was that my mother taught me that out of adversity can emerge abundance. And she said, look, who you spend time with is who you become. What you choose is what you get. How you change is how you succeed. Anybody who thinks the tomorrows of our life are going to be a mirror of the yesterdays of our life has an incomplete view of life itself.
Wow.
The truth is we're supposed to be better tomorrow than we are today. Willie, I don't go to bed at night without asking myself this question: what did I learn today I did not know yesterday? What did I learn today I did not know yesterday? Like today, for example, on my PBS show, I interviewed a gentleman and he introduced a new term to me. Maybe you've heard it, Willie. I have not. Everybody wants to talk about artificial intelligence. And he said, well, artificial intelligence added to human intelligence, AI and HI equals ROI. But you know what? He's so right. We talk about artificial intelligence, and by default, we ignore the fact there's something called human intelligence.
Right.
Your ability to have emotional intelligence, your ability to communicate, your ability to solve problems, your ability to manage risks, your ability to live a life of relevance. We can't forget that. Right. That's what we're created to be. So there's hope for all of us. There was hope in my life. I've been able to make good things in my life. I believe everybody can. And that's kind of my message. And that really is kind of your message.
Correct.
On the platforms and the airwaves of America and the world.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And that is why your message really resonates with me and has been resonating with me we've been friends for over 30 years. And I have been inspired by him, encouraged by him, stayed at his home with his beautiful bride, Mariana. And Dee and I are dear friends of theirs, and they're dear friends of ours. Well, folks, you've heard part of what he's done, but what we're going to talk about today is how he took over a little college in High Point, North Carolina, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was there for an event with Nido. He would bring me in to speak or sing for the annual Thanksgiving events and so forth. And then he said, Willie, let's go for a ride. And we went for a ride. And then he took me over to this little sleepy, dinky, kind of nothing special about college, a little college. And he said, I'm thinking about, they've asked me to help them and take over as the president. What do you think? I said, absolutely. You would be phenomenal. And I had no idea of what he was capable of doing with the grace of God. And this is now one of the top universities in America. It's phenomenal. You just have to go visit just to see for yourself. We're going to talk about how he transformed it from that little dinky college to one of the top universities in the world now. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best and the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. Call me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me.
Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and support for the Dr. Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show comes from Truist Bank. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. Home ownership is a blessing. That's right, it's a blessing. And the ability to build equity, value in a home that you own can be the foundation of creating wealth. Wealth that can be passed on for generations. Truist believes that a path to home ownership exists for you. I hear people say, well, I don't see how I could ever own a home. Well, Truist can help you buy a home with a low down payment. Connect with a Truist teammate to learn about the options available to you. Reach them by calling 855-257-4040, 855-257-4040. They really care. You can also visit truist.com/homebuyer, truist.com/homebuyer to calculate your mortgage payment. That's truist.com/homebuyer. Truist Bank is an equal housing lender. Remember, visit truist.com/homebuyer or call 855-257-4040. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show and podcast. I'm grateful for all of you around the world who have made this the #1 self-help show in America on Sirius XM. But also you've made it one of the top 5% of downloads for podcasts globally on our partners with iHeart and Spotify and C-Suite and Stitcher and TuneIn and Apple Podcasts. We are grateful for all of you who have told your friends, your family members, you got to listen. You got to listen to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. You got to listen because he brings the best and the brightest every single week. He brings people who will inspire you, empower you, encourage you, uplift you. And today is no different. So I encourage everybody, if you aren't signed up for the podcast, do so today and share it with your friends. And then go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. That's my master one-page website where there are about 8 or 9 or 10 different sites, our family site, our marriage site, our motivation site, our faith-based site, our music site, all of those sites where you can get how to become a speaker. All of those are there, and you can then delve in deeper, and you can sign up for our 1-minute messages that are syndicated on 49 Markets on Get Up Morning with Erica Campbell on Radio 1 stations every morning at 8:20 Eastern Time. But also you can get the video version free in your email box every morning, Monday through Friday. And people around the globe say it's changing their lives. So just go to winwithwillie.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be glad you did. My special guest is my dear friend. His name is Dr. Nido Qubein. He is an internationally known speaker, consultant who returned to his undergraduate alma mater in 2005 to serve as president. By all accounts, he has transformed High Point University from a sleepy small school to a dynamic, highly successful institution of higher learning. And he's done it with principles. They are principles that he has in a new book called Extraordinary Transformation, an entrepreneurial blueprint for leaders who seek transformational growth in any organization. And I want to endorse this book as one of the books every leader in any kind of organization should read, because the principles, see, life is about principles, that if you will use principles, you can transform your life, and they work over and over again. I always say principles are bedrock. If you throw a rock up 100 times, 1,000,000 times, it's going to come down 100 times, 1,000,000 times, because of a principle called gravity. The same is true for principles. If you use principles in your life, they work over and over and over again. I want to go into this, Nido, and talk about what made you first take on this task? And then what were the principles that you brought to this task to have such a tremendous impact on this college? It's incredible.
Well, thank you, Willie, and thank you for mentioning the book. It's #1 bestseller on Amazon. That's the easiest way to get it. Extraordinary Transformation. The foreword is by Dr. John Maxwell. It's endorsed by chancellors of University of North Carolina, Michigan State, Duke University, and the chairman of AT&T and other people of his ilk. So look, I was in business for a long time, and I was the incoming chairman of the board at High Point University in High Point, North Carolina. And the school was not doing well. We were losing about 20% on the freshman class annually. We were down to 1,400 students, and the board sort of wanted me to come and help fix the place. And I took about 3-4 months to think about it and pray about it. And you know, it didn't make sense for me to become president of a small college. I had a thriving business, as you know. I was speaking all over the world. I had a tremendous consulting firm. I own half a dozen organizations, and I was serving on the board of many corporations, etc. But you know, sometimes there's a voice that speaks to your heart, to your soul, and that voice kept saying to me, "Hey, listen, you've done well, and I think you can help young people, and you can make impact in this position." And so I agreed to come. I said, "Listen, every faculty member has to want me. Every trustee has to want me. If one of them says no, I'm not coming." So I came in with a lot of gravitas. I came in with the welcome mat out for me. But what I found is $120 million in deferred maintenance we had to fix, and a brand that's almost non-existent, and that we really had to turn this around very quickly.
Right.
Thank God we did. That was in 2005. In 2008, you know, the market went kaput.
Right.
And had we not fixed it in 2005, maybe we'd be shut down like 480 other colleges that shut down in the last decade in America, about 200 of them just since COVID. So, Willie, look, I looked at High Point University the same way you'd look at any enterprise, any organization. Every organization has 3 P's, letter P, 3 P's: the person, the product, the process. So the product that we give is, of course, education.
Yes.
Is instilling in you the kind of principles and fundamentals that can help you to prepare yourself for the world as it is going to be, not as it was, not as it is, but as it's going to be. That we really have to come up with something that is distinctive. Most people are swimming in an ocean of sameness. We want to swim in a small pool of distinction. We had to be unique somehow. And I understood that. That was the first principle. You know, the easiest way I can say it to you is to ask in the form of a question. Maybe everybody watching us, listening to us, can answer this question to themselves. What makes you relevant? What makes you relevant? Forget everybody talking about relevance, as if it's something you go to school to learn. No. What makes you relevant? In a world that used to have 3 billion people in 1955, went to 6 billion in 1995 or 1999. Now we're sitting at 8+ billion. It's going to be 12 billion people in no time. There are at least 1 million people in the world, Willie, that can do what you and I can do. At least 1 million. That can do what we can do. So what makes us distinctive? What makes us relevant? And I'm going to give you the answer.
Yes.
When you say to someone, what makes you relevant? The one word they always tell you is, well, I render value. Well, this show renders value. Okay, great. Have you ever met anybody, Willie, who doesn't render value? Value comes in grades. I've never met a human being, I've never known a company that does not render value. The issue here is not value. The issue is, do you render appreciated value?
Okay.
Let me make the case. So if you, Willie Jolley, were to win 2 first-class tickets to go to Hawaii, and then you get the captain's suite on the biggest cruise ship you ever saw for 2 weeks, all expenses paid, and you can take D with you.
Yes.
That's worth a lot of money. You know,
Yes.
the whole trip is worth a lot of money. You and I would agree it has value.
Correct.
However, if you and D were afraid to fly, and you and D get motion sickness on a ship, and you were told you cannot sell those tickets and you cannot give them away to anybody, it's use it or lose it. Would that have appreciated value? The answer is no.
No.
because you don't want to go get sick. You're scared of flying. So it has value, but it has no appreciated value. And so what allows you to provide appreciated value? Your ability to help people overcome their fear, your ability to help people fulfill their goals, attain their aspirations, or meet their needs.
Yes.
Those are the 4 things. If you can do that, people will beat a path to your door. So I said, there are at least 4,000 colleges and universities in America. How is High Point University going to compete with all that? We must render appreciate value. The student must evaluate it in a way that they can appreciate it. The parent must appreciate it in the same way. The employer must appreciate it in the same way, and so on.
Yes.
And so we came up with 3 things. First one is what we call values. Not value, but values.
Yes.
Ours is God, family, country. That's who we are. God, family, country. We have all kinds of people here. We're inclusive. We welcome everyone. But we as a university has that as the cornerstone of our existence. And under that, of course, there are lots of qualities: gratitude, fellowship, faith, etc., patriotism, etc. The second one is outcomes. Nobody wants to go to college today if the outcomes are not going to be measurably useful.
Right.
So for us, the outcomes are life skills.
Yes.
We are uniquely positioned. We own the lane in America today that we are the university that provides life skills. We're the premier life skills university. We bring people like Dr. Willie Jolley, like the chairman of Domino's Pizza, chairman of AT&T, the chairman of the Dallas Mavericks, the co-founder of Netflix, the co-founder of Apple Computer. The list goes on and on. There are 50 of them in all.
Right.
These are people who have done it in their life. So we have stellar faculty who provide all the academic knowledge that you must have. You must be an expert in your field, sure.
Sure.
But then we frame that with life skills. So when people talk about AI, and when Elon Musk says, that 40, 50,000 people can lose their job just like that college education is not going to be valuable anymore because what you learn in college is going to be obsolete in 4 or 5 years. AI is going to take over. Wait a minute.
Right.
Stop. Time out. If you have life skills, you will have resilience, you'll adapt yourself, you'll be flexible, and most of all, Dr. Jolley, most of all, you would master the greatest skill of all time, risk management. If you do not know how to manage your risks, you will not take a risk.
Right.
And if you don't take a risk, you'll never capture the opportunity.
Yes.
So I'll ask you a question, Willie. Do you like this question? I think it'll intrigue our listeners today. Why do you have brakes on your car? Everyone says, I have brakes on my car because I can stop the car. No. When they first invented cars, the car could only go 5 miles an hour. You could open the door, put your foot on the street, and you can stop the car with your foot.
Right.
Or you can exit the car, stop in front of the car, use both hands, and you can stop that vehicle. We have brakes not because we want to stop. We have brakes because we want to go fast. And the only way you can go fast is to manage the risk of an accident.
Yes.
And the only way you can manage the risk of an accident is to have a mechanism that gets you to slow down or stop.
Wow. Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break for station identification. We're going to be right back with Dr. Nido Qubein on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And you are going to want to hear the rest of this show. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back with Dr. Nido Qubein on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. My special guest, Dr. Qubein, was sharing about how you have to take risks. Please finish that because you have a formula for risk that I have shared. I want you to share that, please. For everybody has to take risk.
Yeah, I was simply saying that how do you become relevant in life?
Yes. So the car is going fast. You got to put the brakes on. Brakes are for not just stopping. It's to keep from having accidents, correct?
It's to go fast. It's to go fast.
The faster you go, the quicker you got to be able to stop.
The only way you can start a business is to know how to deal with it. The only way you can invent a product and market it is to know what you would do if it didn't work out, right? That's risk management.
Yes.
And so, yeah, my formula for risk management goes something like this. Before I invest in something, before I come up with something, at Hype University, we went from 3 academic schools to 14. Wow. We started a dental medicine school, engineering school, nursing school, pharmacy school, law school, and on the story goes. And there's no way you could do that in a short period of time like we've done. And every one of them is successful. Every one of them gets a full class every year. In fact, we grew again this year, 5.2% in enrollment at a time when many colleges, as you know, are declining in enrollment.
Yep.
And why is that? Because we're the premier life skills university, High Point University. And the reason we're premier life skills is because we're not afraid of AI. We're not afraid of change. We're not afraid of risk. Why? Because we enable our students to learn how to manage that risk. So if you lose a job, but you know how to solve problems, build bridges of understanding, you're coachable, you have emotional intelligence, you're going to do just fine. They're not going to get rid of you. They're going to need you to move onwards and upwards. The human touch will always be needed, Willie, in everything that we do. Right. So my formula for dealing with risk is, I think about anything. Let's say I'm investing money in a piece of real estate. I'll say, what is the best thing that can happen as a result of taking this action? Right. And then I forget the answer because, any ding-a-ling can deal with the best thing that can happen. Right. Then I say, what's the most likely thing to happen? That's a little different. Right. Then I'll say, what's the worst thing that can happen? And then here's the way I make my decision. If the most likely thing to happen will get me closer to my goals, because if it doesn't, why are we even talking about it? Right. If it gets me closer to my goals, and I'm willing to deal with the worst thing that can happen, I go for it. So I have a place smack dab on the beach. Yes. Someone said, well, a hurricane could come and wipe this thing out. I said, well, I don't want to see that happen, you understand? But if that were to happen, I will not file for bankruptcy. Right. I can deal with that loss. So therefore I have my home, enjoy it, and I don't stress out over it. And so, life, as you said earlier, life is about have a set of principles that you follow. Yes. And those principles can take you everywhere. And most of the time you learn those from people who are doing something, who have done something, who have failed some, succeeded some, and learn how to adapt from it. Yes. In this book, you give a master class. I'm encouraging, first of all, take a moment to tell everybody where they can get the book. The name of the book is Extraordinary Transformation. It's by Nido, Nido Qubein, Qubein. And it is an entrepreneurial blueprint for leaders who seek transformational growth in any organization. It is incredible. I am going to be, if you're on my newsletter, let me say this, if you're on my newsletter, folks, and you can get on our newsletter by going to wjwow.com, wjwow.com. Just sign up for the newsletter.
in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be giving away some copies of this book and sending it to a few people. So you're going to be on my newsletter, so you'll be in that pool of people who will be able to get it. But everybody, I want you to get it. Get copies now, and don't worry about my giving away one. Get everybody you know in your organization. Where can they get this book, Nido? Where can they get this book?
Okay, it's called Extraordinary Transformation. It's endorsed by some of the great leaders in America, and it's #1 bestseller on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. It's not a book about how to run a college. It is a book about, it's the story, the chronicle about what I've done at High Point University to grow it from 90 acres to 600 acres, from 1,400 students to 6,500, from 100 faculty members to 500, from revenues of 28 million to revenues of 500 million, from net assets of 50 million to net assets of 1.3 billion. On and on the story goes, from being ranked very low by U.S. News World Report to becoming #1 best college in the South. 14 years running #1, and Princeton Review ranks it as the #1 best run college in America. So the book is about the fundamentals of business that I've used in my own life, building 6 different businesses, and how I brought them to High Point University, and how we built a great team of faculty and staff, and how we cooperated and collaborated together to build a great institution of higher learning. It is a great book for anybody who wants to be a leader, anybody who's running an organization. It does not have to be a university at all. The ideas are applicable everywhere. But Willie, I think it takes 4 things for us to succeed in life.
Okay, please.
#1, we have to have a clarity of vision.
Yes.
You got to know what you want, man. If you don't know what you want, anything can come your way.
Right.
#2, you have to have a solid strategy. Where am I? Where am I going? How do I get there?
Right.
#3, you have to be a believer in practical systems. Most people want to believe pie in the sky, Pollyanna thinking. It doesn't work that way. The world is very competitive and globally so.
Right.
And the last one is consistent execution. When you believe in something, you believe it's a good idea. Don't let the naysayers, don't let the critics get under your skin. I've had them, believe me, Willie, my first 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I had critics everywhere thinking that what we're doing is crazy. Today, they admire us. 450 university presidents came to visit us asking the same question. How did you do it? So if you stick to it, and if you do the right things and follow these steps, one can succeed in almost any endeavor.
Wow. And you know what? You're right on. In my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. One of the things I say is that the naysayers will rally all against you while you're building it. But once it's built, they say, oh, we knew you could do it. And, oh, yes, and so you can't listen to the naysayers. You've got to listen to the heart that's inside of you, and wise mentors. You talk about mentors in the book, and one of my mentors was General Colin Powell, who was a friend of yours and a friend of mine. And you talk about mentors, and I always say there are 2 ways to get to any goal in life: mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there if you don't give up. One just gets you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. So you got to have good mentors. You talk about all these things, these principles. Let's talk about one of the things I loved in this book about branding. Oh my God, you give a master class in this book about branding. Because people talk about, the brand, but they really don't understand the importance of a brand promise. You break that down in such and you talk about primary and secondary. So kind of expand on those 2 concepts.
Yeah. Well, everybody talks about brand, but what they really mean by branding is brand awareness. Do I know the name, Pepsi Cola? Well, everybody knows the name Pepsi Cola, but if you don't buy Pepsi Cola, does it really matter that you know the brand Pepsi Cola? Not really.
Right.
Lots of people may know you or may know me, Willie, but if they don't book us to speak at their company, or subscribe to a newsletter or learn from you or listen to your show, doesn't really matter that they know your name. It really doesn't. It has minimal effect, right?
Right.
So it's not about brand awareness. It is about brand preference. So if I prefer A over B, then that company has done a really better job than just I know who you are. Right. It's really not about brand preference. It's about brand insistence. So if you go into a restaurant and you say, I'd like to have a Diet Coke, and the guy says, well, we don't serve Diet Coke. we serve Pepsi. Then you say, well, you know what? I'll just have water. You insist on the Diet Coke. You will not replace it by something else. Willie, you've had this happen to you. I've had it happen to me, where a bureau would call you up and said, that client just wants you.
Right.
They're asking about you.
Right.
This is why, Dr. Jolley, this is why in your career and mine over the years, we have been unable to have proteges that we can say, someone calls you up to speak, so, well, I can't do it, but I can send you, John over there. They don't want John. They want you.
That's right.
So that's called brand insistence. But ultimately, the greatest level in branding is called brand advocacy. When people not just insist on you, but they advocate you. They tell the world, like you're advocating me today, and I appreciate it. You advocate the product, the institution, the company, the university to the world.
Yes.
That is power. What built Hypo University are advocates. Mostly, by the way, parents who are so satisfied with what we're doing with their children that they go tell all their friends about Hypo University. They say,
Wow.
you got to go visit. You got to go on take your high school kid and go see it. And
Right.
you'll see what we mean. We have an open house next week, Willie. That's when students come from high school, sort of check you out. We have like 2,000 people coming.
Wow.
I'm not sure I've ever really saw that vision. I knew we'd grow, but I'm not sure I ever thought we'd have 2,000 people show up and we're running around saying, where are we going to put them? How are we going to deal? How are we going to give them a tour? The demand is over the top. But let me say something else. Brand advocacy is the mastery of branding.
Yes.
But really, honestly, the people like you, or I think in a small way like me or Hypo University, here's what they do. They go from branding to positioning. In other words, what they do is they own a position in the marketplace.
Yes.
And when you own that lane, that position in the marketplace, it's so difficult for somebody to imitate you.
Right.
And so the way you own it is by having an ecosystem that you feed into it horizontally, vertically, diagonally. Somebody else cannot come in and do what you do. Somebody cannot, like, you can read my book and know how we did Hype University, but you can come to the university and say, well, I think I'll go back to my school and do that. Not that easy. The
Right.
board may not agree. You may have to borrow a lot of money, get you in trouble. Faculty may stand against you. You may not have the team to produce it. It's not that simple. So if you own the position, on the other hand, from the beginning, then you feed the position.
Right.
And you feed it with the primary elements, not the secondary element. So someone says to me, we want to do X. And I go, well, is that primary to our purpose? Is that primary to our mission? Is that primary to our values? Or is that just sort of a secondary thing we do if we have time, if we have excess cash, if we have excess energy? Because if it's secondary, never let the secondary take over the primary.
Right.
If you do, you'll fail. Here's an example, Willie. People use the term financially independent. I
Right.
don't like the term. Because none of us are independent. We were created by God. We're not as hot as we think we are. We come from the salt of the earth. We go back to the salt of the earth. If you don't believe me, go visit someone in hospice and
Right.
see how your life is not. You're not going to live forever. I don't care who you are. So it's
Hold that thought. I'm going to do a cliffhanger. 'Cause I want the rest of that answer on the other side of this break. Because people, you got to stay tuned to get the rest part of this whole concept of branding and finances and how to create success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show with my special guest, Dr. Nido Qubein. We'll be right back. And for sure, your best and the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Say, if you're serious, you'll make a way. Hannibal said, if you cannot find a way, then make a way. See, it doesn't matter what happens around you or what happens to you. It only matters what happens in you. When people stomp on your dreams, don't get mad, don't get even, get ahead. Because massive success is the best revenge. So when people laugh at you and they try to put you down, take that negative and turn it all around. Grab hold of your dream, let it set your soul on fire. Activate your faith and take it higher, higher, yeah. Gonna take it to the top and say it, said I'm never gonna stop if you got
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and will help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show and Podcast with my special guest, Dr. Nido Qubein, president of High Point University, extraordinary businessman and thought leader that is globally in demand. Please finish that thought.
Well, we were talking about branding and brand advocacy. And I was saying beyond branding, you have to own a position in the marketplace.
Yes.
It better be distinctive. It better be relevant if it's going to be sustainable.
Yep.
And I was saying, words, Willie, words, you're a master of words. Words make a difference.
Correct.
So when people say, I'm financially independent, I want financial independence, I go, you're never independent. God made you, God will take you. You're not going to be independent. But here's what you really mean. I want to be financially confident. That's a different ballgame. And we all want to be financially confident. Words make a difference. And when you use them with yourself, they make all the difference in the world. So you got to use action words when you talk to yourself. Like, I can, I will, I believe. Truist, your sponsor on this program, has a formula that says your behaviors are not really what determine your results. If you want to change your results, change your beliefs.
Yes.
If you change your beliefs, by definition, your behaviors will change. If you, for example, think work is a privilege, work is a blessing, you'll behave in that way. Right. If you believe work is drudgery, I hate it, I don't make a difference in my job, you'll behave in that way. And then you don't get promoted, don't make more money, you don't get any recognition, then you're mad at the job and your boss. When really it had to do with you. Really, why are immigrants to America 4 times as likely to become millionaires as born Americans?
Right.
Why is that? Right. Are they smarter? Are they better looking? No. They believe this is the land of opportunity. Now, this is not a perfect country.
Yes.
There are a lot of iniquities in our society. There are a lot of blemishes in our history. God knows that's the truth. But there's still opportunities.
Yes.
Everybody can advance somehow. So these guys come in here and they start doing nothing. They drink water and eat olives and bread. And before you know it, they became millionaires.
Right.
They believe it, therefore they act on it.
I remember you saying one time, an immigrant doesn't come over to this country, leave the comforts of their home, their family, their friends, to come here and fail. They come here to succeed, and they keep that foremost in their mind. And I've told people in my books, read about the immigrant attitude. You got to have that mindset that I'm here. Even if you were born here, I'm not here to just fail. I'm here to succeed. I'm here. And this is the land of opportunity. This is the land of possibility. And so you have proven that over and over again. Let me take a moment, though, but let me take a quick sideline, because you mentioned Truist, and I want to take a moment, just a moment, to talk about this incredible bank, Truist, that you are, in all transparency, you're on the board of Truist. You were one of the founders of the first bank. You mentioned that earlier, and that bank was bought by BB&T, and then BB&T put you on the board. They said, we want your thinking, and you've been, I think, the longest serving board member. Am I right?
35 years. 35 years.
And then an opportunity came for these two competitors to become one bank. How did this thinking go, Nido? How did this come? And how do you help people understand finance?
Well, number one, you understand finance by hanging around people who understand finance, right?
That's right.
Who you walk hand in hand with and side by side with is more likely the person you'll become, like them. Your salary in life, your income in life is typically equal to the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. If you take all their salaries, all their income, and average it out, that's pretty much where you're going to be. So it behooves us, therefore, that we hang around people who know more than we do, people who we admire, people who we would like to think like they do, and so on.
Right.
Truist is an amazing financial institution. It's the 6th largest financial institution in the country, and it has great leadership, great commitment to people. They are committed to their customers and clients, and both retail and institutional clients. It's all about leadership. It's about 2 leaders, one of SunTrust, one of BB&T, that came together to form this new bank. Nothing comes easily. Right. If something is worth doing, it is worth going through some hard work to get there. And these 2 leaders and their teams went through a lot of hard work to merge these 2. Just imagine the millions and millions and millions of accounts, processes that you had to change to make it one organization. So how do people understand finance? Well, there's accounting, there's finance, which is understanding the principles of finance, and there's financial strategy. And the most successful people are the ones who master financial strategy, because you can understand the principles of finance, like assets minus liabilities equal net assets, like the rule of 72 divided into the interest rate you get tells you how many years it takes you to double your assets, for example. These are all principles of finance. But financial strategy is taking the information and the knowledge that you have and turn it into wisdom. So if all you have is information, people will use you and discard you. Think about Google. You Google only when you need something, and then you throw it out. Right. Knowledge is people will call upon you only when they need you. Think about your dentist. Think about your car mechanic. You only call on them when you need them. You don't get up, go see them every day. Right. If you have wisdom, people respect you. That's why you're successful, Willie. Yes. Because you have wisdom. If you have wisdom, people respect you. So financial strategy is about the employment of your wisdom, which employs, of course, information and knowledge, to make the right decisions, take the right risks. We got a few more minutes in this interview. I always ask every person a question. You were coming to DC to give a speech, and I went to the speech, took you to lunch, and then we went over to Howard University, American University, my alma mater, and we went to a business class. Tell the people what you would tell the students. Here are a few you got us. If you're going to be successful in business and life, here's some basic you got us. Number one is focus is more important than intelligence. You can be highly intelligent and unfocused and achieve minimal results. Wow. So you have to focus on what it is you want to do. You cannot do 25 things extremely well. Right. You can't. Think about an athlete. Remember when Michael Jordan tried to play baseball? Correct. Remember that? Yep. It didn't work. Right? It was a career short-lived. Right. So you've got to focus on what you want. Now you got to know what you want. And then you got to focus on the things you must do to attain that goal. Yes. And then monitor those, inspect what you expect. But focus is more important than intelligence. Here's a second one. The 3 most important words in the English language: are these: and then some. Everything that's expected of you, and then some. Prosperity, significance, and a high level of success are the byproduct of what you do over and above what you expected to do. It is when you go beyond the call of duty. It's when you engage Willie Jolley to come and give a speech, and then impromptu you say, will you do a couple of songs for us? And he doesn't say, no, I don't sing. This is Wednesday. I don't sing on Wednesday. Say, okay. And you go away saying, well, darn, this guy does what he was supposed to do. Then you ask him for more, and he gives you more.
Yes.
And you walk away going, Lord have mercy, Willie. I'm glad I know you. And that's, by the way, that describes you to a T. And so, and I've done this to Willie Jolley many times,
right.
In front of crowds, which shows you the mastery of the man.
Right.
You can't do that if you don't have the mastery, if you're not focused on it, if you're not fluid in it. So that's the second important lesson. The third important lesson is develop good habits early in life. So you asked me about finance. You should always save 10% of your income. I don't care how little your salary might be. 10% has to go in savings, even if you have to deny yourself a meal a day. Right. I started with eating peanuts sometimes for dinner. Sometimes Swanson frozen dinners. I buy them 3 for $1. I lived with a man who was 85 years of age, paid him $15 a month instead of renting a nice apartment or buying a condo. And so develop good habits early. Here's the deal about habits. Good habits are hard to develop. They're easy to live with.
Yes.
Bad habits are easy to develop, but they're really hard to live with. So learn early on to develop the good habits. And the way you arrive at that is you take a sheet of paper and you write on it, my good habits. And then underneath it, put my bad habits. And your good habits should be 5 times as many as your bad habits.
Amen. Amen. The book is called Extraordinary Transformation, an entrepreneurial blueprint for leaders who seek transformational growth in any organization. I highly recommend everybody go get this book. Where can they get it, Nido?
Amazon or Barnes & Nobles.
Right. I want to thank you. I want to applaud you. I want to celebrate you publicly for what you have been to this university, but more importantly, what you have been to me and my wife, Dee, over these last 30 plus years, how you have poured into us, how you have encouraged me, how you have inspired me, how you have been a friend, an encourager, an inspirer, and it has had a tremendous, tremendous impact on my thinking and on my personhood. So I thank you, Nido Qubein, for being my friend and my brother. And I ask God's richest blessing on you, your wife, your children, your grandchildren, and your family. So bless you, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Willie Jolley. I could say the same to you, and I can say it in triplets. You know of which you speak. You cannot teach that which you don't understand, and you can't understand that which you not live and do. And you understand it and live it every day. That's why I honor you and respect you.
Thank you. And now, folks, again, I want to thank you. I want to encourage you to share this audio with your friends. Listen again and again on our podcast and share with everybody you know. And then go to winwithwillie.com. And remember, go to truist.com, TRUIST.com. When you start with care, you really do build a different kind of bank. Truist is an incredible bank. They hold my mortgage. And I wouldn't have a bank that holds my mortgage if I didn't trust them. And they are awesome to work with. And then last but not least, join us every Monday night at 9:00 Eastern on the Jolly Marriage Show, where my bride and I, who will be celebrating 40 years soon, we talk about marriage and how to stay married and how to improve your marriage, enhance your marriage. You can find us on jollymarriage.com, watch our TED Talk, and then make a point to listen every Monday night, 9:00 on A Jolly Marriage Facebook, A Jolly Marriage Instagram, Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live, and on YouTube. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. Have a great day. God bless you.
Sometimes some rain's gonna fall, and everybody's house sometimes
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.